Okay, I have an amazing card effect to share with you today. It uses Bessey sequences of order 8, but more importantly, I will be introducing new techniques and procedures for working with these remarkable sequences. So kind of look for the new elements, and I'll explain them in the tutorial. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a club, heart, spade, and diamond in various values. Same thing here, club, heart, spade, and diamond in various values. Okay, so we'll turn these face down. Now if you're here, I'd have you kind of randomly mix each pile separately here, however you would like. And then you can decide how to stack these, maybe left on right. Okay. Now since we've seen the cards, why don't we begin to mix them? We'll perform a left-right shuffle. How would you like these piles stacked? Right on left? Okay, and probably should do at least one more of those. How would you like these stacked? Left on right? Okay, very good. At this point, we can do a Charlier shuffle if you would like, or you could just offer to the spectator to cut the cards and cut the cards at any location. That would be great. Okay, and then we're going to do something that I don't believe I've shown you on the channel. So if I have, my apologies, but I don't think I have. So what I did there is I Klondike pairs of cards to the table. And now we're going to stack these in a very different way than we've ever stacked piles. You can stack the outer ones on top of the inner, or vice versa. The inner on top of the outer. Which would you like? Inner piles on top of the outer? Okay. Then how would you like these stacked? Left on right. Okay. Very good. Now, here is a new mixing procedure. Now, technically, for math aficionados out there, it doesn't necessarily give rise to a new permutation of Bessey sequences that can't be accomplished in other ways, but it is a very different looking procedure. Okay, so what we're going to do is it involves the down-under shuffle. So I'm going to go down and then under and then down on the right. Under, down on the left, under, down on the right, under, down on the left, under, down, last one goes on top. How would you like these stacked? Left on right? Okay, so note to you as the performer, you can perform as many of those as the spectator would like. Okay, we can also do it into 4 piles, which is kind of crazy. So I'm just doing a down, under, and then after I complete the under, I put the next card down, and then we're just moving from left to right into 4 piles. Now, how would you like these stacked? Left to right to left, or leapfrog stacking, if you've seen that? You want right to left, no leapfrog. Okay, that's fine. But once again, to you as a performer, you can do as many of those as you like with random stacking from left to right to left, or leapfrog stacking. Do you want to see one with just leapfrog? It is true that if you haven't watched my other videos, you don't even know what that is there. So why don't we go ahead and show you that. So I'm just doing the down under shuffle, but each time I put one down, I'm just kind of moving across from left to right. Now, a leapfrog stacking from left to right would look like this. This one leaps over its neighbor, lands there. This one leaps over its neighbor, lands there. Random stack here. Right on left? Okay. Very good. Now, another note to you as the performer, any shuffle that we've been using on Bessey sequences, you could perform on this packet, and it won't undermine where we're headed, okay? But I think since this is meant to introduce a few new elements, we'll stop there with the mixing. You want to do one more down, under, into just 2 piles. Okay, no, we can do that. So down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down. Last one goes on top. Now, how would you like these stacked? Left on right? Okay, so are you content with that? Okay, and now I'm going to deal out the cards into 4 piles for a final time here, actually. Maybe I'll put one here, one there, and then one here, okay? And then we'll go ahead and just bring the middle together, push it up there, bring those 2 together. Okay, so let's go ahead and just move these packets here. Now, I'm going to try to get a sense as to what's in each packet, okay? And so if you just give me a minute, I'm going to try to divine or sense something about these individual packets. Now, one thing I need to tell you is, well, partly because I'm kind of a mathy person, numbers come to mind before words, okay? And so what will come to mind maybe will involve numbers, not letters of the alphabet, that kind of thing. Okay, well, I'm getting a sense over here that, once again, I can't really see the card value names, but I can see the number of letters in their names. And so I'm getting the sense that 3 of the cards over here have 3 letters in their card value names, like an ace or a 6. But there is a 4th card that has 4 letters in its name. What about over here? Oh, that's interesting. There's actually 3 cards with 5 letters in their names, like Queen or 7 or 8 has 5 letters in its name, and 1 card that has 4 letters. Okay, well, let's just see if that's true here. Whoa, check that out. My number clairvoyance paid off yet again. I said that the cards over here would have 3 letters, and 3 of them would have 3 letters in their names, and the 4th one would have 4. Ace, 6, and 10 all have 3 letters in their names when spelled out. And over here I said there would be 3 cards with 5 letters in their names, namely 3, Queen, and 7, and then a 4th card that has 4 letters. Oh boy, isn't that amazing that I could just see this separation of numbers that correspond to the names of these individual cards. Okay, so how does this work? Well, I mentioned that it involves a Bessey sequence of order 8. In fact, it's these so here's one set. So we have 3 cards that have 3 letters in their names, ace, 6, 10, and then 1 with 4, which is jack, and then 3 with 5 letters in their names, and then 1 with 4, namely 9. Okay, so I actually, if you go back to the beginning, I actually began with these. I don't know which one was on the left, which one's on the right. They also happen to have a club, heart, spade, and diamond within each, and same thing here. So in some sense, that was intended to be a bit of a red herring because people probably were focused on card suits, not values, and then certainly not the number of letters in the names of card values. In fact, let's do something here. It just occurred to me now. I think we can do it. For the sake of clarity, okay, so this is just to help you see the structure, okay? So what I've done is I've decided to go ahead and just group together the red. So this is purely educational, but I think it's going to be much more helpful than jumping to this advanced example that I just showed you. Okay, so these are red, these are black. So they're all like related in some way. The relation used to be that these 3 of these had 3 letters and 1 of them had 4, and these 3 of these had 5 letters in their names and 1 had 4. Okay, but the colors are really going to help here. So random stack, okay, and then what I did was I dealt out into 2 piles random stacking. Let me just show you what that does so far, okay? And so where we're headed right now is we're headed to an alternating packet. Where we're headed. Well, it's not there yet, but in the case of 8 cards, if you perform the left-right shuffle a second time, this is going to be it'll be an alternating packet. The other one was cyclic too, of sorts. Alternating packet of red and black, or black and red. It doesn't matter which color you start with. Okay, and then because it's cyclic, you can perform random cuts or the Chardonnay shuffle. It won't hurt it. Okay, and then I just showed you a really interesting way to convert this to a Bessey sequence of order 8. Okay, so I did a Klondike shuffle into 4 piles, allowed you to stack the inner ones on top of the outer or the outer on the inner. So maybe we'll do the outer on the inner this time, random stack. So the claim is this is now a Bessey sequence of order 8 relative to color. And that will be easier for us to see. So it's like I have black, red, red, black, red, black, black, red. Okay, so for those who have studied anything on my channel with Bessey sequences, you'll recognize the organization here. Well, this organization can be mixed in hundreds of unique ways and not harm it. That's the amazing thing about this particular organization. Okay. Now, what I showed you today is technically a new procedure that I've never used before, even though it can be arrived at by performing multiple other shuffles that I have shown you. Okay. So what I showed you today was this left, right, down, under. Okay, so you do like down, under, and then down, under on the right, down. Oh, let's see, I'm not sure if I finished the under. Okay, I'm talking too much. Okay, and then random stack. So if I didn't get myself confused, which maybe I did, no, I guess I lucked out here. So yeah, so it's still a Bessey sequence of order 8. You can also do that into 4, which is kind of fun. So just always complete the under part before you put the next card down, under, down, under, down. Last one goes over there on top. Now this is free stacking from left to right or right to left or leapfrog, if you've seen that before. Okay, so you can do as many of the dealing into 2 in that way or into 4 with the stacking I mentioned, and it won't harm this. Or any other mixing that I've shown you for Bessey sequences. Okay, and then from there, now it is important that after you finish that you catch a glimpse of the bottom card. And it looks like the bottom card's the same thing it was before. It's a 9 of diamonds. Okay, so what I needed to be aware of, well, for example, if I saw right here, if I saw a card with 3 letters in its name, then I know that when I go to deal out, the final card I deal out will be the pile with 3 letters in their names and one with 4. Okay. If I see a card with 5 letters in its name, then I know that the final card dealt out will be the pile with 3 5-letter card value names and then 1 4. Okay. Now in the performance, I actually hit this one as well, which is a little bit harder because it requires you to remember which of the 2 4-letter names you put into each pile. So I had noted ahead of time that I put the 9 of diamonds in with the cards that have 5 letters in their names. Whereas for the set of cards with 3 letters in their names, the card with 4 was the Jack of diamonds. Okay, so that was the only difference. So it's a little bit easier if this happens to be a 3-letter name card or a 5, because then you'll know, which is which right away. I guess at the very end, too, you don't have to actually say which pile has 3 cards with 3 letters in their names and which one has 3 cards with 5 letters. You can just say, well, I'm sensing there's a division. But because I noted this, I knew that the final card I would set down would identify the pile that has the 3 cards with 5 letters in their names. Okay, and so all I needed to do from there is when I dealt them out, I don't know if you noticed how I dealt them out, I'll do face up that final dealing. Okay, in fact, why don't we, if we're going to do face up, let's go ahead and reverse these. I mean, technically this was on bottom, now it is. If you know it's a Bessey sequence, you can just think of that 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 0. Okay, so in other words, you can think of like maybe black, red, red, black. Next one's going to be red. The next 2 will be black, and the final one will be red. So just being aware of the structure of the Bessey sequence, you can separate the outer piles so that they agree in color or agree in where they came from, and then the inner piles are the same color or come from the same original group. And then I just kind of put those together, slid those off like that. And because I had remembered where the last card, I showed you the 9 of diamonds, even though that wouldn't have the same meaning here because we've destroyed the original packet. But that 9 of diamonds told me which pile had 5 letters name and which one had 3. Okay, very good. So anyway, that's a new card effect with a few new elements. So thank you for watching. And take a look at the link below in the description to Bessey sequences and quasi-Bessey sequences. And it will explain more of the background of this. And also take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.